Welcome everyone to the Chris Parrish podcast. We're here with episode 87, Invasive Thoughts. Now you might be wondering, what is so invasive about my thoughts? Do I have something extreme? We'll just have to wait and find out. Because right now we need to give thanks to every single person who is responsible for making Chris Parrish podcast running, and that is Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and beercadewhyte. That's right. All through this episode, you will get some commercials about turnbucklestudios.org and carlcarafel.redbubble.com because I am a part of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, and we want to not only bring more people in, but we also want to give you the best content possible. And with beercadewhyte, they're a fantastic sponsor that plays all WWE and AEW pay-per-views and PLEs. So if you want to go check out beercadewhyte in Edmonton, Alberta, go check out 10544 82nd Avenue because they not only have a great atmosphere, they have great food, they have great games, and you'll have a great time. So about those invasive thoughts, well, it's not what you think. I'm not going to give you all these insane, out of the blue ideas. No. As we all know, NXT and TNA were butting heads for the last little while. And there was a show called Invasion. It has now been renamed to Showdown. We're not going to get into the why. I think we can all agree that when you find out why the show is named, you kind of just shake your head and be like, do they know it's pro wrestling? It has nothing to do with that kind or in that part of the world. But let's just let it go and focus on what we do have, and that is a show called Showdown coming to you this Tuesday. And it's NXT versus TNA. Now, my intrusive thoughts is to give you, if I was in control of this big show, how would I book it? And it's going to be a little different, but I'm going to stay in the realm of, the 4-on-4 Survivor Series type matches, which I thought was very interesting, by the way, that Ava Raine, when making this announcement, that she used the phrase survival series type matches. Is that a foreshadow to what we'll see at the actual Survivor Series later in November in San Diego? I'm very curious to see if we're going to get some of those types of matches at the actual PLE Survivor Series. But before I get to any of what I have for the shows, let me let you know some things that in this kind of build that I've liked and what I don't like. And I'll start with the things that I don't like, which is something I don't usually do. I'm not really one to critique something. I tend to be a little bit more patient and see how it plays out. But this whole what side are they on type deal is a little, are you kidding me? Because they're doing it with, and I say they, I mean WWE, TNA. We're seeing it being done with Jordynne Grace and Joe Hendry. And Joe Hendry, I think, is a very fascinating one. It's more of a realistic one in my eyes because we all know his contract status was and has always been expired in some time, I believe, in this year. We've seen Joe Hendry appear at the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, various NXT shows, some WWE live events in Europe. And we've seen a lot of that absence in TNA because he's been more active in NXT. So I can understand the 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality. However, with Jordynne Grace, she has been contracted to WWE for the entire year of 2025. And we sit here in October questioning what side she's on. It makes no sense to me. She's clearly NXT. That's like asking AJ Styles, hey man, we're doing this TNA Invasion. What side are you on? It's like, yes, we all know that they used to work there, but, I feel 10 months is a little bit of a stretch. No? And the fact that she's not truly put into this main show, she is now, from what I understood, the special referee or the guest referee to the women's Survivor Series type match. Just, if I was her, wouldn't I just be pissed off? That's a little slap in the face, if you ask me. It's like, I've been busting my ass for this brand for 10 months, and now you're questioning my loyalty? Like, come on. Based on the fact that I worked there, but I worked there to come here, and now you're questioning where I stand? Like, I'd be mad. If I was Jordan Grace, I'd be a little on the pissed off side about that. So that's kind of how I feel on there. With Joe Hendry, it's a little bit different because as of today, he is still contracted with TNA. And then we all know that really he's probably going to move to WWE, and he's been doing a lot with NXT, but he's only doing the stuff with NXT because of the working affiliation between the two companies. So you can't fault a guy for taking advantage of opportunities. If anything, go to a guy like Nick Nemeth, who's openly said on Bust Radio, who is on a future episode of Chris Van Vliet. He said he just doesn't want to get involved in the NXT TNA storylines. So he doesn't want to fight for this. If anything, you can make a side angle with TNA hating on Nick Nemeth because he didn't want to fight for the brand. Just as much as you can question Joe Hendry's loyalty. So these are just a couple things that I'm like, if you're going to go this far on, if you're going to go this direction, like, go all the way. Because if you don't go all the way in this invasion type angle, I feel you're not doing it justice. Another thing I don't like is it almost feels like this show on Tuesday felt a little forced, and I just don't like the whole, oh, we're going to do this show, but we're going to do it on a Tuesday slot. If this is not a time to make it an actual standalone PLE or anything like that, I think you are really missing out here. Now, I'm not saying to do it this weekend, because obviously we all know that we have Crown Jewel, and then there's Bound for Glory. But what I am saying is, the weekend that we have right now, completely open, completely free. You're telling me you couldn't have done it now, started this whole thing a couple months before, and really set the stage to something really cool and have it this weekend? I think you could have. And I really do think that was something that is worth mentioning. Because in the middle of a 4-on-4 brand versus brand elimination type match, we're going to get to a good part, and then all of a sudden, commercial. We're going to get a good part, and then all of a sudden, commercial. Oh, wait, they're going to do an angle, but before we can get to it, commercial. Because, lately, I think we can say timed commercials. They haven't been well timed at all. Best comment saying, I feel Tuesday will lead to a standalone PLE. Yeah, I do too. But let's also point out that when we do one Invasion in 2025, there is a lot of comparables to when they did it 20 plus years ago. And guess what? Invasion was a pay-per-view. And then the winner take all Survivor Series was another pay-per-view. They didn't just say, hey, we're going to just up and make a Saturday Night Heat mean a little bit more. No. They took the time to build it to something bigger. And I think that's something that they just could have done to make this feel a little bit bigger. Now, things I do like. I like the fact that there is butting heads. I like the fact that TNA is absolutely PO'd about the fact that Kalani Jordan and Trick Williams, NXT signed performer, are their champions. I like the fact that TNA, in my eyes, are the aggressors of this because they're the ones who, for the last 20 plus years, has been considered a third brand. Oh, the main competition to WWE. Then all of a sudden, they were not even a competition to AEW. And then they changed into Impact. They had almost an identity crisis, to say. They had change in ownerships, and nobody knew if they were going to stay in business. Pardon me. But there's a lot of people that did not know if they were going to stand and stay the test of time. And they've done that. Why? Because the people who work for TNA believed in TNA, worked their tails off for TNA, and it's truly still here because of the blood, sweat, and tears from the performers. And that's why a lot of them stay loyal to TNA. That's why loyalty, in my eyes, matters more in TNA than any other company. So I love the fact that you get the passion and you get that just fight for what you believe in mentality with TNA. Because I believe it, it makes sense, and it's organic. Because for the longest time, NXT, you know what the deal is with NXT. You develop, you become somebody, and then when you hit a certain point, you go up to a Raw or SmackDown. It's a stepping stone to something greater. TNA is not a stepping stone. It is another option. It is a different opportunity. It's almost a rebound in a way for a lot of people, and it was always trying to be more than just that. And because of that, it got a cult-like following, and everyone goes for it. Everyone cheers for it. Everybody supports. I will actually say this. I think when people really talk about professional wrestling, WWE is always going to be the big dog in the fight. I think AEW is always going to be that alternative dog in the fight. But TNA is always the most lovable dog in the fight. And that's how I kind of break down that. Now, another thing I do like in this is that fact that we do get to see WWE flexing a little bit. I think that has to happen because if you don't give that initial action, you don't get the reaction, right? So with Trick Williams winning the title, with him parading like he's larger than life with that championship, only to piss off everyone in TNA, I think it definitely sets the stage and sets the standard to what this is. And I like that because you need somebody like that to get the wheels moving. Usually it's an ego. Usually it's something that can make you dislike it. And very much like Vince McMahon did when the Invasion Angle was started all then. But I really do. I think that was very good because obviously WWE has the resources, they have the power, they have all that to do it. They have that ability to take a shot on the people who, maybe the whole crowd thinks is maybe just not on that level. So to kind of see that and take that first shot makes all the sense in the world in my eyes, because it just gets redundant of seeing the small guy try to punch up. It matters more when the person takes a shot down because it gets a bigger reaction and it makes you more sympathetic to that punch up in the long haul. So I do like that. Before I get to my predictions, I am just going to throw out a couple of videos. As you can tell, I am fighting and battling a cold. So I'm just going to get this done so I can blow my nose and hopefully sound less nasally. So, yeah, if you guys want to get a chance or want to have the opportunity to join Turnbuckle Studios, you have all the opportunities here. So please check out not only our Help Wanted ad, but then also if you want to help support the channel and you want to rep the channel within whether it's clothing, product, we also have an online merchandising store. So check out both of these videos before we get to my version of what I would do on an invasion/showdown event between NXT and TNA.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
All right, more information about that. If you want to go and check out turnbucklestudios.org, please do that. That is the official homepage of the Turnbuckle Studios. If you want to go to turnbucklestudios.org/join, that takes you directly to the page where you can get closer to the next step of joining Turnbuckle Studios. And if you also want to go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com, that is the official link to the Turnbuckle Studios online merchandising store. As for my predictions or my version of a show, I'm going to go all out. You know, we've been talking about, WrestleMania's 2 nights, SummerSlam's 2 nights, which is now 2 nights. Well, I have a 2-nighter. But it's not a 2-nighter that you would think. It's not like WWE is putting a 2-night show on Invasion/Showdown. No. I'm doing it where NXT presents Showdown. And then the next night, TNA presents Showdown. That's right. Both companies putting on 1 night each. And they're doing their way of taking over the weekend and the wrestling world. So on night 1, I have main evented by the women's Survivor Series match. I had JC Jane and Jordan Grace partnering up with Kalani Jordan, the TNA champion and the NXT champion on the women's side, teaming up, as well as Jada Parker, as they take on the team of Tessa Blanchard, Masha Slamovich, Rosemary, and Jody Threat. And the reason why I picked these competitors is because I don't like the fact that Kalani Jordan is captain of a TNA team when she's an NXT superstar. Yes, she might be the TNA champion, the Knockouts champion, but her contract is loyal to NXT. For the same reasons I said above about Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry. I have the same thing with Kalani Jordan. How is all of a sudden she's just instantly trusted in the TNA locker room, but, Jordan Grace is questioned by the NXT or Joe Hendry's questioned by the TNA. So I have Kalani Jordan here, and yes, her heart is going to be questioned in this match. She knows where her loyalty is, and that is to NXT, but she knows that she is the champion and representative to TNA. So the emotions with her are going to pull her in so many different ways through this match. It's going to leave her exposed. And this is exactly why I would have Tessa Blanchard eliminate Kalani Jordan, because Tessa Blanchard does not let emotions dictate what she does inside the ring. And what a way to then get yourself that opportunity at a Knockouts championship down the road. Now, I also have Marsha Slamovich, and yes, let's just take all the news and the rumor, that all the noise away from this. For the last year, when Jordan Grace moved on from TNA and went to NXT, Marsha Slamovich was your poster child for the Knockouts division. She won the title from Jordan Grace, and just recently she lost it to JC Jane, who then lost it to Kalani Jordan. Or, sorry, lost it by Ash by Elegance, who then had to retire, or not retire, but relinquish the title to then have Kalani Jordan win. It was very weird about the sequence, but the one mainstay we know we did have in that Knockouts division was Masha Slamovich. And in a perfect world, I think, we can take care of this noise. And in a perfect world, she'd be wrestling. And I would actually have her pin JC Jane, but then be eliminated by Jordan Grace. I also have Rosemary in this match, and I think Rosemary is just somebody in TNA that a lot of people overlook. I had a couple people in place on this side, but I thought Rosemary, just for the longest time, is a staple. Whether it was TNA, Impact Wrestling, for all that time, Rosemary was always just a staple in the Knockouts division, and I couldn't help but put her in a featured match. And what better of a featured match than a main event match here? And that's exactly what I did. I think she brings a different element to the match, a different element of this match that I think it really needed. And because of that, I think that this would be very fun to see her work alongside this next person, that is Jody Threat. So my team TNA would be Tessa Blanchard, Marsha Slamovich, Rosemary, and Jody Threat. And I think the partnership between Rosemary and Jody Threat can work and would be a lot of fun to watch, especially when you put maybe the unpairing or the unlikely pairing on the other side with Jada Parker and JC Jade. And I picked them for the sole point of, I think Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan have much more in common than they think, with the whole, one worked at TNA, one works in NXT. You have the other one who is the TNA Knockouts champion, but works in NXT. So they're both former TNA Knockout champions in a way. But right now, they're NXT. So because of that, I mean, JC Jane I know is the same way, but that was a whole different ballgame. And she's a heel. Jada Parker has that attitude where I think that they would align a little bit more. But this is a match I think can go in so many ways. It could be more of a brawl. It could be more of a fight, but it also can be a very fun, entertaining pro wrestling match. And eventually I do have Tessa Blanchard pinning Jordan Grace to win this match. And the reason why I have TNA winning this match is because I think you can then truly, after this, then go into the whole, what side are you on? Especially with Kalani Jordan. If you want to play out that heartstrings kind of tug you each way, your loyalty is, and NXT, but you got a responsibility to TNA. That's going to cost her not only the match, but a focus. And I think that's going to really take her into shape. And I think that's an opportunity you can take. Next up, I have a fun match here, and that is a number 1 contenders match to any male title on any brand, whether it's NXT or TNA. And in this number 1 contenders match, I have Moose taking on Mustafa Ali versus Tony D'Angelo versus Miles Bourne. It's a 4-way, 4 corners match, 1 fall to the finish. And I actually have Mustafa Ali winning this match. I think I have him pinning Miles Bourne while Tony D'Angelo and Moose take each other out. I think this match could be a lot of fun. You have the different styles. You have Mustafa Ali, who can do just about everything. He can do a lot of your high flying. Miles Bourne can do some high flying. Tony D'Angelo has known to do a little bit of high flying. Moose, former X Division champion, knows how to jump off a rope. But they also know how to beat each other up, and they know how to outmaneuver one another. I think these are very 4 polished pro wrestlers, and I think this is a fun match to have. But I think the Order 4 plays a part in helping Mustafa Ali, and the best part is you have a member of the system, you have a member of Order 4. They're currently working a program with each other. It's just another way to help that. With Miles Bourne and Tony D'Angelo, you don't necessarily have to go that way, but you could have Stacks or anybody take them out, or you can have somebody cost Miles Bourne. Next up, I have a championship match. For the North American Championship, Ethan Page defends against Matt Cardona. I think this match not only brings you a very solid main event, but also is a match that now you can have a lot of fun with, because everything that Ethan Page is on the heel side, Matt Cardona can easily be that opposite on the babyface side. I think this is a pairing that makes a lot of sense. You have Ethan Page that can make fun of Cardona's love for action figures. But then you also have a nice, fun mix of, now does Ethan Page, can he truly trust Chelsea Green? They've been working together, but now that just really, really puts a little stamp on the, can we really trust this? Because we all know Chelsea Green's real life husband is Matt Cardona. So because of this, I think it's just a fun dynamic of a lot of things. And yes, I'd play into just about everything I can. Eventually, I think you play off this match where Chelsea Green maybe goes to try to help Matt Cardona, but Ethan Page outsmarts it and ends up taking advantage of a miscue between Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona, to the point where Chelsea Green doesn't look like she did anything wrong, but she's also not upset at the result. It's one of those type of scenarios where she wants to continue the partnership with Ethan Page, but she also knows that she's very familiar with who is on the other side. But this is a match that I think would absolutely steal night one if it was put out. Next up, I have Dark State. Any 2 members of them taking on the team of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers for the NXT Tag Team titles. I think this would be a fun match. I think for the tag team titles, you'll get a lot of great action. But I think, too, that just a team of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers would work so well with Dark State. You have the experience against the newcomers, but you also have this beautiful dynamic to where now you have all of Dark State. You can then bring up all of the system. You can have Mustafa Ali, who, in a weird way, is not only going up against the system with Order 4, but Mustafa Ali also was the leader of a group called Retribution, which you see a lot in Dark State. So how ironic would it be if a guy like Mustafa Ali, who's going up against the system, his group costs the system those tag titles and helps another group who kind of mirrors one that he used to lead just 4 to 5 years ago. Imagine if there was a working relationship between Order 4 and Dark State. Now that would be interesting. We talk about two companies going up against each other, but what if within that we see a partnership of talent? And then as my opening match, I have a match between somebody I think is very exciting in the ring against another person I think is very exciting in the ring. Different styles. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But I think this match probably wouldn't have the build that you want, but as they get in the ring, you'd be like all for it. And that is Charlie Dempsey versus Cedric Alexander. I think the mat skills and the technician of Charlie Dempsey would complement the high-flying, innovative skills of Cedric Alexander. I think some of Cedric Alexander's best matches when he was a part of 2 Alive was with Mustafa Ali, who was very mat savvy. But I think Charlie Dempsey works very well with people who don't work his style. And because of that, I look really up to his father, and William Regal work very well with high flyers. And because of that, I think Charlie Dempsey will as well. Also, by the way, with Dark State, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, I think, I do have Dark State retaining the titles. For Charlie Dempsey, Cedric Alexander, this match could go either way, but I do have Cedric Alexander picking up the win here, simply because I do think there's more momentum for Cedric Alexander right now, and I just want to keep that going. Nothing more to it. I think this match is just there to be a really good match between the two. You can even have a match where it's Ava Raine and Santina Marella picking a representative from each brand to have a match, and that's all it is. That you can even have them have an agreement of saying we will pick somebody and we will see you out there, and night one starts with that handshake agreement of this match, and these are your competitors. So you don't need a story build. You can just have a great match. Cedric Alexander picks up the win, and now all of a sudden, Santino Marella believes that TNA has the momentum going into this, and then kicks off the momentum of the show. So that's my night one here, and this is, you could pick if it's NXT or TNA holding the show, but I do like the idea of NXT and TNA each having a night of these shows. They just happen to be back-to-back nights. You can have one. You don't even have to have it in the same building. You can have it in like cities that are close by, like New Jersey, New York, like whatever, something along those lines, or Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. There we go. Actually, that's exactly what I would do. Have NXT night one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then night two, TNA in Philadelphia. So that is night one. I will get to night two in just a second, but I will let you guys see what we have coming up every week here on the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. So check out our weekly calendar.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
All right. And a little bit of notes for next weekend on that. One show you do not see is the PLE Patrol, but fear not, the PLE Patrol will be returning this Saturday for WWE's Crown Jewel. Yes, the time will be picked later, but I am assuming it's going to be around the Saturday night time. So look forward to tomorrow's Raw Patrol and Turnbuckle Talk, as I'm sure Chris Best will say on those shows, if just the update on if there's a change to Saturday night's gaming or what time the PLE Patrol is. And then also on Sunday, there will be a TNA watch party with Bubba Duke for Bound for Glory. So more information will be there when you check out any shows this week, because I'm sure Bubba Duke will inform you more about what time that will be. But I do believe it's whenever Bound for Glory is on live. I don't have that information on hand right now. But for more information, please check out turnbucklestudios.org, because that is a place you can watch all the latest episodic shows, whether it is the Chris Parrish podcast, whether it is the Raw Patrol, SmackDown Security Detail, or plethora, whether it's the Boar's Nest, whether it's Brace for Impact, all the shows. On for night 2. That's right. I have that 2 a night show. Now, if there's been a match or any ideas that you have, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. If there's a match that you'd like to see, let me know. If there's a match that I already put out, let me know which one that is. But night 2, I'm going to start from the opening match and work my way to the main event. And my opening match is for the TNA Tag Team titles. That's right. I have the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, defending against Hank and Tank to start off night 2 of this show. And yes, I think this match would be a lot of fun. Obviously, Hank and Tank will bring the pace of this match. The Hardys will clearly take control of this match, and they know how to slow it down. They know when to take those calculated shots. They are the seasoned veterans, and you can make a claim that the Hardy Boys might just be in that greatest of all time conversation when you talk about tag team in professional wrestling. I do have the Hardy Boys retaining the titles here. I don't think you need any tomfoolery or anybody coming in and running in or anything like that. A simple, amazing, straight up match that the Hardys win. 1, 2, 3. You have the handshakes moving on. Yes, I know that this is a big thing, but you have 4 respectful baby faces in this match. There can be a little bit of respect here. And let's face it, if you have an opportunity to wrestle the Hardys for a tag team championship and you've been a fan of them, I think you will be okay after the match with giving a handshake. Next up, I have a very intriguing match. And this is the match of how I would have used this guy going in, instead of this questioning his loyalty. Yes, I do have Joe Hendry in a match here, but I don't have him in a straight up singles match or anything like that. I have him in a mixed tag match. That's right. I have Joe Hendry and the current number 1 contenders for the TNA Knockouts title, Indy Hartwell. 2 people who have worked on both sides. They have worked NXT. They have worked TNA. And this is the funny, ironic part is people will question Joe Hendry's loyalty and Jordan Grace's loyalty on the show. And Jordan Grace has been with NXT for 10 months now. But it's funny, nobody says anything about Indy Hartwell, who has been with TNA for less than 10 months. So I just find it very weird. That's why I choose not to go in that direction to begin with. But Joe Hendry and Indy Hartwell will take on the team of Shawn Spears and Izzy Dame. I think this would be a fun match. I think it'd be a great way to introduce Joe Hendry into NXT when that time comes. And you can have him go up against Shawn Spears right away. You can have that altercation. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And yes, in this match, I do have Shawn Spears taking the match, pinning Joe Hendry in a weird kind of way. But I think Shawn Spears, his group, can come in and kind of help him. But yeah, there's a lot of that can happen here, but I do like the fact that Shawn Spears and Izzy Dame are a part of a faction. They have that mentality. There is a little bit more there, so I would kind of go closer to them having a better chemistry than Joe Hendry and Indy Hartwell, and I think that'd just be a lot of fun to kind of go there. Plus, I needed to get a way of Joe Hendry and Indy Hartwell on the show, but I also wanted to include Shawn Spears and Izzy Dame because I think Izzy Dame is somebody on the female side of NXT that you really want to look out for. We've seen her have some opportunities in the past wrestling for the championships, and I think she's done very well. And I'd like to see a little bit more from Izzy Dame. I do think that is somebody that you can have as a potential person who takes the North American title off Sol Ruca. I would actually really be intrigued in that match, especially if the future really just has Joe Hendry come into NXT, and that'd be a great way. I think Shawn Spears is great. A great first person for Joe Hendry to do something with. And then next up, I have a number one contenders battle royal. And the best part is, once again, any title from any company is on the line. For the women, though, because this is an all women's battle royal. That's right. Every woman who's not been used yet is allowed in this battle royal, and the winner can pick whether it's the Knockouts title, Knockouts tag title, the Women's North American, the Women's Speed, the Women's Championship NXT. All those titles are open, and you can be a number one contender for that championship. And this is where I think I would have a surprise. I think there's a lot of people that could do this, but I'd have Demi Luna win this. I got an opportunity to see her when I was when I went to TNA last week, and she is very surprisingly good. And I say surprising because I just did not know much about her. I was very impressed, and I loved what she was doing. And I have Demi Luna winning this battle royal, and I think she going up against whether it's a JC Jane, whether it's going up against a tag team where she can find somebody to be in a tag team with. I know her and Jody Threat are no longer a tag team, but even if you want to go Demi Luna and Sol Ruca, which I think would be a hell of a match for the North American Championship, I mean, I don't think I would say no if I saw that main eventing an NXT on a Tuesday. I don't think I'd be upset at all. But I spoke a little bit about Sol Ruca. You're wondering, well, is she in the Battle Royal? No, because I have Sol Ruca and Zarya taking on the Inspiration. That's right. You saw it this past week as the Inspiration defeated the Elegance brand to become your Knockout Tag Team Champions. And I have the Inspiration versus Zaruka for the TNA Knockout Tag Team Championships. And I think this match would be awesome. I think you would see a lot of chemistry, whether it's from the Inspiration or Zaruka, who I do think is the best female tag team on NXT, which I'm going to just say this, NXT. I would love if the tag titles were used a little bit more often on NXT, but the fact that the tag division is so thin on the women's side and not really very well represented, I think that explains why. But I do like Zaruka a lot as a tag team. I like the Inspiration a lot as a tag team. Put this match together, and I think we would have a lot of fun. I think the fans would, again, enjoy it. The common theme right now is you get a lot of babyface versus babyface matches. So you're giving Zarya and Soulruka an opportunity to kind of work that aggression style. I think Zarya works better in that role to be anyway. And I think Soulruka can take the next step by really learning how to slow the pace down and really emphasize the big moments that she is capable of doing in that ring and just elevating all that up. Because again, I think this is somebody that is a future women's champion on Raw and SmackDown. I do have the Inspiration retaining their titles. There is no reason to have a title change here. The Inspiration are a perfect representation of women's tag team wrestling, and I would keep the titles on them. And this takes us to the main event of night 2, and that is the men's Survivor Series match 4-on-4. I have representing NXT Ricky Saints, your NXT champion, Trick Williams, your TNA champion, Javon Evans, and Oba Femi as they take on the number 1 contender to the TNA title in Mike Santana. Mr. TNA, I will say that, in Frankie Kazarian, as well as Mr. TNA. Yes, there's 2, because when I think TNA history, how can you not think Frankie Kazarian and Eric Young? And they're teaming up with the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. So I have Santana, Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian, and Leon Slater. Yeah, a lot of people say, you don't have Steve Macklin. And I was like, given your landscape right now, you have Mike Santana, who I think is the heart of TNA right now. You have 2 guys who I think bleed TNA, and Frankie Kazarian and Eric Young. They pretty much have done everything. When you think about day 1, current day, who's kind of been there almost the entire time. Yes, they've gone elsewhere, but they always come back. And again, I emphasize when it comes to loyalty, I don't think any company really takes it to heart as much as TNA does. So yeah, and then you have the X Division champion. So I think that is something there. I do like the team of Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Oba Femi. I think that's a very big team, but this is exactly where I would go. The first man out, Javon Evans. I have Leon Slater beating Javon Evans and really setting the stage here. I then see the team of Mike Santana, Eric Young, and Frank Kazarian. This is when they come together and understand what they have to do. This is where Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, and Oba Femi come together and understand what they really have to do, because now they're 4-on-3. So they take it to it. We got Ricky Saints kind of taking it to Leon Slater, while we see Trick Williams and Oba Femi try to take on Santana, Eric Young, and Kazarian. And what I would do here is I would have Eric Young and Kazarian isolate Oba Femi. We want Mike Santana going after Trick Williams, but we have and I think that's kind of like that main focus here, right? So I think we have Santana and Kazarian taking down Oba Femi. In fact, I even have Eric Young eliminating Obafemi next. And I think that would shock everyone. I think you'd be like, oh my God. But right now, let's just be honest. Obafemi is probably closer to going to a Raw and SmackDown than regaining a championship in either company. And because of that reason, I don't think it's right to have him as the guy standing alone. And I really do think this match needs to come down to a one-on-one. So because of that, Obafemi now out. We have Obafemi out. We have Javon Evans out. And now it's 4-on-2. The unlikely duo of Trick Williams and Ricky Saints are the lone representation for NXT. So this is what I do. Ricky Saints, he starts kind of picking up a little bit more Trick Williams vibes and understands that right now you got to fight a little dirty if you want to get on top. And they find a way to take out Leon Slater. And you brush him off. And then now it's 3-on-2. Mike Santana, Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian going up against Ricky Saints and Trick Williams. And this is the time I think you pull the trigger and Trick Williams turns on Ricky Saints. We have Frankie Kazarian pinning Ricky Saints because Trick Williams turns on Ricky Saints. And because of this, it's Trick Williams who then has to look at Mike Santana, Eric Young, and Frank Kazarian. And because of that, what we get is a standalone. The only person representing NXT now is the TNA champion. And the only person that the team of TNA faithful want to beat up is the TNA champion. He's the only hope for NXT. And because of this then shows you everything. Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian, they try to take it a little too far. You see why Trick Williams is the TNA champion here? He's taking the fight to everyone, but, it's 3-on-1. Can't take it. Can't take it all. But then Eric Young goes for a chair, and he knocks out Trick Williams. Gets disqualified, but he understands that chair shot opens the door for Team TNA to take advantage because he's wearing down and isolating the one person, and that's Trick Williams. All of a sudden, now it's Santana and Kazarian, and they're the only shot. Now, Mike Santana and Frankie Kazarian battle it out. Kazarian goes for a double team with Santana. Trick Williams gets out the way, hits Santana, who falls out of the ring. Boom. Trick shot. 1, 2, 3. Kazarian's out, and we're down to Trick Williams and Mike Santana to close us off. And right before we can get to anything, because you got to get this big one-on-one. Both men are exhausted. You can't have this angle if you don't have a good old-fashioned brouhaha mid-match. So that's what we have with the companies. Only at the very end, Ricky Saints comes back, and he does what Trick Williams did to him right back. And Ricky Saints is the one. Your NXT champion is the one who takes out Trick Williams to allow Mike Santana to pick up the win. Because who would have thought that your final moment in this match, a match that is main eventing a 2-night historic showdown with an invasion type angle. And what you're getting is NXT and TNA coming together to form a partnership. Ricky Saints holds his title as Mike Santana holds Trick Williams' title. And everything looks good. Yes, this will go to a bigger show. But what a beautiful come together moment this would be as Ricky Saints and Mike Santana. Mike Santana's looking like he is that hero that TNA needs, but Ricky Saints is also showing you that the revolution that he wants is one of honor and respect, just like Mike Santana wants to do as well. So I think that would be a beautiful moment, and that would be my 2-day event of NXT versus TNA Showdown, Invasion, whatever you want to call it. And that is my card. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any changes, what you would like. If there's any changes, yeah, I might go in a little detail and you might be a little bit, what? Hit me up. We can always have a little bit of conversation there, but that is what I have coming up next week. Because obviously I do like to talk about what I have coming up. We do have episode 98 coming in, almost to 100 people, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. But episode 98, say his name. I'm going to leave the context up to you. Because will we be talking about the person that you do recognize that too? Or do we talk about the person next Sunday who could walk out your new TNA champion? Find out. That's what we're going to have in episode 98. But if you want to get to know Turnbuckle Studios more, make sure you're checking out not only carl.redbubble.com, but also you're checking out the Help Wanted ad. So go and please check these out right now.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, videos, games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
And for more information, go to those two websites, turnbucklestudios.org and carlcarafel.redbubble.com. Those are the homes of not only Turnbuckle Studios and Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, but also the online merchandise store for the Turnbuckle Studios. If you want to check out my link tree that is located down below at Chris Parrish, you can get information about all my platforms, all the platforms that you do get to watch the Chris Parrish podcast with, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, or even Spotify. And if you want to go check out my Spotify, please hit a follow for the channel and hit a good 5 stars if you rate the podcast. I appreciate that. Definitely helps the content and the channel grow and expand. And I really would like to do more for you. So that is a great way of doing so. I do want to take this time to publicly wish my son a happy 2 birthday. That's right. My son now turns 2 years old, and I couldn't be doing this without him because he is truly my inspiration for everything in life. So Memphis buddy, Daddy loves you. Happy birthday. And for that, this has been episode 97, Invasive Thoughts. I'll see you next week, but remember, be happy, be healthy, and be yourself, because at the end of the day, you matter.
We're